Exodus. Oh, it's Exodus 23:2, and it reads, "You must not follow the wrong. When you are called to testify in a dispute, do not be swayed by the crowd to twist justice." And when I first heard that, I was like, what is this about some court system stuff? you know, and when I start to read it and look at it more, because I always like to look at things for the deeper meaning that it has. So as I start to look at it, start to break it down and start to think about it and start to put it into my own life and thinking about what it means. It's not just about what it says justice, even though that puts you into the mindset, oh, court system. That's not what it means necessarily. I would take it as, a lot of us, especially people my age, we come with the ideas, oh, well, if my brother gets caught for something, I'm gonna do time for him. Or if something happens to Billy down the street, that's my bull. I'm gonna do what I had to. I'm gonna rock with him. And that kind of a mindset just gets you into deeper trouble. It says you must not follow the wrong. A lot of us, we claim people and we side with people that will do anything in the world for it. We'll go to hell and back for it. We'll die for them. But they will not do the same for us. I guarantee you, if what I'm saying and you're thinking about somebody in your head right now and some of the things that I'm saying and that you're starting to notice about somebody that is popping into your head, I guarantee you that they're not for you. They're not standing for you. They're not rocking for you. They're not your mans. They're not your friend. And, me and myself, I've learned, that the hard way. A lot of people, it's a saying, never to bite the hand that feeds you. But a lot of people didn't pick up that memo. A lot of people do. Because especially now, a lot of people they don't know the meaning of loyalty. And you yourself, you might think that somebody might have your back and they're thinking of how to stab you in your back. They're thinking of that. And that's why it's important to always pick who your company is. It's always important to pick who you're around. You see, a lot of times we like to pick the people that are the worst for us. We like to, sit or just be around the bad company, but when you have somebody that's good around you or somebody that you really need in your life, you always tend to shut them out because it's not what we want. Even though we know it's not, even though we may not notice it's what we need.
Amen.
And so when you think about people that you're around, I want you to think about the way that they treat you. Have they done you wrong? And I'm not just saying, they made a mistake, because all of us make mistakes and nobody's perfect. But if it's somebody that has, purposely tried to harm you or done harm to you or made your life harder in ways that they could have prevented or they did it on purpose, they purposely tried to use you or manipulate you, then that person ain't for you. You have to stick around people that are going to be for you, that are going to be there when you need them, that are always going to be somebody that you can depend on. And that has to be both ways, because like I said, nobody is special, and you have to be there for them. And like I said before, it can't be one-sided.
That's right.
So if you're, let's say, let me give you an example, let's say you got a friend down the street. Let's say his name Bob. You and Bob, you be hanging out with Bob every day. You knew Bob for a while, and you guys, y'all been through some stuff, and you consider Bob to be like a brother to you, to be like your best friend. And then one day Bob asks you, can I borrow $20 maybe? I'll pay you back. You give Bob $20. Bob never pays you back. Now you go to Bob, you say, Bob, what happened to my $20? I thought you said he's gonna pay me back. And Bob says, oh, I got you. Till then, can I use another $20?
Mm.
And you say, cause you a loyal friend. And it's not because, you silly. A lot of y'all might be at home and be like, I'm not giving him another $20. But this is just an example. But you give Bob another $20. And then Bob comes to you. He says, oh man, well, I just had the money. I'll pay you back in the next couple of weeks. I've been stuck in some trouble. Can I use $40? And you start to go into this pattern where, you start to feel like Bob is using you. But you and Bob have been friends for so long, and you guys are such good of friends. You trust Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want you to ask yourself is, who is your Bob? Everybody has one.
Wow.
Who is the person that is, maybe using them for their own gain while putting you under?
Wow.
Who is doing that to you? Because we all have them, and we all have people that, are self-centered, that that are self-centered and maybe using people for their own self-gain. And, that all comes with a mindset that people in my generation, we're born with. Because we're born with, I am number one. I always got to look out for number one. So what I want you to think about is not only just who is your Bob, but are you Bob?
Oh.
Are
Wow.
you the person that are doing the other people?
Wow.
Are you the person that are using people for your own self-gain? Are you treating people bad to make yourself feel good? Are you doing this? And, I also was asked to, talk about high school, and how to pick the right crowds. And, I feel like we all know how to pick the right crowd, but we just don't. For whatever reason, we don't. Let's say, the right crowd, they're not popular. They don't got the stuff that you want. You want to be cool. You want to be part of the cool kids. You want to, do stuff that they know is bad. Or you want to be a part of something that is, more. But the people that are doing more are the bad people.
That's hello?
Hello? All right, I'll keep going.
You good,
But,
bro? You good?
All right, well, I'll keep going. So the people that you want to be around are the people that's bad for you. Hold on, that just threw my thoughts. my thinking process off. I was on a roll for a little bit. Hold on, give me a minute to just get my thoughts together. But the people that you want to be around, they're not the best for you. They're not gonna be the best for you in the next couple of years. When you're out of high school, because you also got to think about, well, I'm in here for the next 4 years. That's going to be a long time. But you also have to always think about the future. You have to think about the future. And those 4 years out of your hopefully long life, which I pray to God that it is very long, because, a lot of people, tomorrow's not promised for a lot of people.
Yes, sir. Wow.
So, but I pray to God that everybody on here will be blessed with a very long life. But, that's a whole nother topic in on itself. And I could go in and talk about that all day. But you have to think about, the next 4 years. That 4 years in your long life is going to be a grain of rice in a whole bag. A grain of
Mr.
sand,
Washington.
you know what I mean? So you have to think about that. So next, when you're going, and I know many of you on here are going into high school. Maybe you're in high school right now, or maybe you're about to leave high school, and you know that you're hanging out with the wrong people, or maybe your mom just said, "Hey, get on the Zoom." If you're on here right now and you're listening to what I'm saying, you're on the right track. And and if you're worrying about, well, what, and if you're worrying about your future, or about who am I going to hang out with, or who am I hanging out with, what is the company that I'm keeping that is bad for me? If you're worrying about that and you're on here, then you can just drop that, because you're already making the right decisions. You're doing what's best for yourself right here in the moment. And so I just want you to hear what I'm saying and just take into consideration and put in your own life perspective. You know what I'm saying? So if any of y'all have questions for me, or if there's something else that you want me to talk about, and I mean anybody, I feel free to ask me questions, or just to tell me. I have a
Anybody have any questions or thoughts? You can just go ahead and unmute yourself, and if you have a thought or a question, certainly talk to Brandon, talk to our other presenters, or just share a thought.
Yeah,
okay.
I have a question. A question about peer pressure. How does that affect you?
Me personally, or just people in general?
People in general.
Well, peer pressure, people, especially in high school, peer pressure has a lot to play in everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, what, like, I'm going back to the example with the people in school, the kids that's not the best for you. Let's say in order for you to be friends with them, you gotta smoke. You don't want to smoke.
Amen.
Man, you corny if you don't smoke. Hit this real quick. You corny if you don't. And you say, I don't know. I want to be friends with them, but I don't know. I don't know if this is right for me. And they say, it's all right. We got your back. Nothing gonna go wrong. That's a perfect example of peer pressure. And when you're put in situations like that make you feel uncomfortable, and you know that this is not right for you, no matter who the person is, I don't care if it's your parent, because even our parents, they make mistakes. I want you, I don't want you to be disrespectful if it's your parent, because you should always, have top most respect for your parents. But I want you to first question it. I want you to think about, well, if I do this now, what will happen to me in the next couple of months, in the next couple of weeks, then the next couple of months, and then in the same time the next year? I want you to think about, after you make that one decision that you feel like might be a pivotal point in your life, and it might not be the best for you. I want you to consider that and take that into consideration. And let's get another example. Let's say you're in a store and your friend says, I don't got enough money for these chips. Can you put this in your book bag real quick? And they say, if you put it in your book bag, they'll do this, that, and the third for you. Or they'll give you something that let's say you've been wanting that for a long time. Or, let's say it's another bad kid, and they say, well, I'll put in a good word for you. I'll let you hang out with me and my boys, and we'll go chill after school or whatever. And, you say, man, I don't know. And he says, it's going to be all right. I got your back. Another example of peer pressure. When it's something like that, think about it. You always have to think. You can't go into a decision into anything in your life. And this can go to anything. Anything. You can never go into a situation without thinking it out. That's something I've also learned the hard way.
Yeah.
You have, you always had to think about it. You know, even if it seems something as trivial as answering a test or a quiz. You know, think it through. Think it through. Because it can determine whether you're going to get an A or you're going to fail.
Wow.
It could determine if this decision could determine if you're going to get an A in life and you're going to be successful, or you're going to get an F and fail. You know, peer pressure is a way. I can say it's the number one way that people my age get caught up in bad situations. You know, peer pressure, you know, it's not always just a weak-minded thing. Sometimes you could have the strongest will in the world, but depending on the person it is and how much of an effect they have on you as a person, peer pressure could be one of the hardest and most difficult things you can overcome in your entire life. And, you know, and like the person before me say, character, you know, character has a part to play in how you can beat peer pressure.
Okay.
You know, you have to be able, like I said before, you have to have integrity, doing the right thing even though nobody's watching.
Yes, sir.
You have to be able to separate yourself from those type of situations and know how to. And you have to be able to know who to talk to. It's always important to have somebody to either an adult to talk to, or even if it's your best friend. You have to be able to talk to somebody. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. Everybody needs a shoulder to lean on. So, is there? I might not have been as clear as I could have with peer pressure, but if there's a question you have for me to try to clean it up or clear up what I was saying, you could ask me any question.
I think you were clear, but I'm gonna say this too. So that was in general for you directly, and not necessarily to prolong it, and that was certainly good for you directly. How does peer pressure affect you, and how do you overcome it? Do you fall into it sometimes?
So peer pressure, me personally, I fall into peer pressure all the time. You know, I'm not gonna come over here and, you know, be a guest speaker and, you know, seem like I'm the perfect person, because I am not. I am absolutely, positively not a perfect person. Nowhere close.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, I fall victim to peer pressure all the time. You know, and wait. So don't ever feel like, if you fall victim of peer pressure, don't feel bad about it. You know, just always think about what you could do differently in those situations. And I know me personally, when I fall victim to peer pressure, you know, first, you know, I'm upset. I'm mad because I know what I did was wrong. You know, and I always talk to somebody about it. You know, no matter who the person is, I always talk to the person about it. You know, I've been caught up a couple of times in some trouble, you know, because of peer pressure. I'm sure we all have gotten into some trouble because somebody told us to do something we were not supposed to.
Amen.
You know, so I hope that answered your question, Mr. Rich.
No, absolutely. Because sometimes, you know, when we make it personal, like you said, it certainly feels different. And I'm glad that you say, you know, that you feel bad, feel mad, you get convicted. And I know we talked about, you know, even that word conviction before, because that's what makes the difference. It's scary when we do the wrong thing and we're victim to anything, whether it's peer pressure, whether, you know, we made a choice on our own, because sometimes it ain't even the peers. Like you said earlier, are you that person that's doing it? But when we feel convicted, when we feel guilty about doing the wrong thing, that's when it's hopeful. It's scary when you don't feel bad about it. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that's true. That's the truth. So, yeah, I just want to, you know, before I start speaking, I want to, you know, or if I'm asking anything else, before I'm asking anything else, I want to, you know, leave you all with, you know, something. You know, if you haven't listened to anything that I said, I hope you can listen to this. You know, I hope the best for all of you on here. And I want you to always pay attention to your surroundings and the people that you hang with.
Yes, sir.
Because the people that you hang with, 9 times out of 10, if they're not trustworthy, people that you hang with are the people that will be your downfall. And I'm not trying to add trust issues onto anybody. I'm not trying to, lower anybody's confidence or make them second guess themselves. But that's just the world that we live in now. You always have to be careful, and you can never be too careful. So, I hope everybody has a good day. If you haven't been up and at them yet, I hope you all are able to, go out there. It's a nice day outside. It's nice and warm. If you've been on a game, if y'all play games, go outside for a minute. Just even if y'all going to sit on your steps, just enjoy the day. And
thank you, Brandon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Brandon. Sister T, what you think, Sister T? And thank you for inviting these gentlemen on here to speak today. And I'm sorry I didn't open up by at least saying Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and father-like figures. So let me put that out there now in case I forget. But I was so excited about the topic and wanting to hear from everybody, and just good to be back on here with Sister T again and Brother Farrell. All right, so tell me what you thinking. What's on your heart, Sister T?
What's going through my heart is that I'm trying to keep my big mouth shut for a change. I love it. I love it when I hear the young men and the men take lead in giving conversation, because we need more of that.
That's right.
I care about my women. I care about my young women, but we women sometimes we need to shut up and listen. There's a thing between hearing and listening. And I truly been listening today. And I just want to thank both of my guests for giving us such a wonderful presentation. And first I want to, Deacon Hawkins, thank you for being a listener. Because you could have been one of the older men to say, oh, well, let me tell you, son, let me tell you. And Brandon, my mama, thank you for sharing your heart, your soul, your mind, and your intelligence. And all I can say that if anyone that's on here today have not received something from both of these gentlemen, I don't know. You probably was hearing, but you wasn't listening. Because there certainly was a great message that came out today.
Yes.
And I thank you men for making this lady shut up. See, Brandon say he talks. You don't want to hear me talk. But I thank you so much. And Richard, thank you. Thank you for and I learned something, Brandon. Are you rocking with me? Hey, I like to get young. Can you rock with me on that? Yes, I can rock with you on that. Love it. And I know if my daughter's listening, she probably say, oh, Mom. Daryl,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you so much, my brother.
Oh, yeah. Like you said,
Deacon Lee,
they need this. They need this. Go on.
Yeah. Deacon Lee, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much. I want to thank all my brothers, all that I don't know that's on, all the young people. How many young people are actually on today?
I have a few phone numbers on here, but if you're one of the young people, either come off mute or tell us something in the chat or tell us something that you got out of the message today so that we know you're here.
Just say hi or something. Yeah.
A name as well. Don't all start at the same time. Go. I see Quadir Adams. Or you want to say hello or something? Hello.
Hi. Yeah, we need to know the names
Hey,
of the
Mr.
young
Washington.
Who's that? Who's that?
You know who I am.
That's Tiara. That's Taki.
Well, Taki is not here today, so
So you came to represent. We appreciate that.
Standing in the gap, standing in the gap.
Who else is on?
So Quadira, Tiara, can either one of you share anything that you might have heard or got out of it? And don't mean totally to put you on the spot, but you know we do that sometimes.
There's a Nigel that's on. Nigel? Hello?
Hello. Yeah, hello.
Your name, first name, last name?
My name is Nigel Warrington. I'm 15, and like I'm in 11th grade. Well, next year I'll be in 11th grade. And I actually got a lot out of that message. Like, 'cause, like I used like back when I lived in South Philly, I used to like get caught with wrong people a lot. I would always end up in trouble. So yeah, that really like what Brandon said. A lot of it, what he said, like really spoke to me.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing. Nadir Map, you on there?
Hi, this is Nadir Map's mom. He's in the restroom right now. He was trying to go beforehand, but didn't want to miss anything. So sorry.
Okay. All right, well, we have them. And I want to make sure.
The fathers are blessed on all year round, but we celebrate them today.
Oh, thank
All right. Okay, I want to make sure that all the young men that I have their names, and they know why, because there's a special gift that I'm going to be giving them. So they got to make that. But I got to have their names to make sure that they did come, because that gift is given to those who showed up, and I got a couple of them. So if you're on mute and you know that you are entitled to a special gift that we have promised you, you better speak up.
Right, what they say, Sister T, speak now or forever lose your gift.
That's right. Yes.
We do have someone in the chat while we're waiting. And if
Or type your name, type your name and your phone number in the chat.
and thank you, Isaac Peterson, for sharing in the chat. Said, hey, I learned a lot, and I want to thank my Pop Albert for inviting me. So thank you for sharing that.
All right.
Wow.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna thank you too, Pop Albert. See that's what we're talking about. You know, we have to invite, we have to share with folk. If we don't share it, then folk don't know.
That's right.
Caring is caring.
That's right. You know, sometimes we're
Amen.
talking about the wrong crowd. Sometimes we share the stuff that we ain't got no business sharing. This is the stuff we gotta share.
Amen.
All right. So has basically everybody just come forth and said their name? Now remember, now you either have to have your name in the chat with your phone number, or we have to have your name. That's important. And then we will be contacting you after this broadcast.
And just looking at the list here, Ms. T, I believe you have them, because the other ones that are on here, I recognize the names, and they're mostly the adults that are supporting our young people.
Okay.
So again,
all
thank
right,
you, Carrie, for joining us. Thank you, Ms. Butler, for joining us. Again, we mentioned, well, Nigel already came on, and we know that was a student. Lynn Dantzler.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Anything you wanted to share? We give everybody an opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, go ahead, Aisha.
That was Deacon Hawkins, I believe. Can you say that again, Deacon Hawkins? It didn't come through all the way.
Oh, I said thank you for joining us.
Got you. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. And in the chat, Sister Teacher said, too, Lynn Dantzler says, sorry, the audio is not working. And just for clarity, just want to make sure that is the name of the person who's listening in, because sometimes the name may not be the person who's paying attention. So it is that Lynn.
Yes, that's good. That's
right,
good. That's one of the brothers of our church.
That's
good.
what I'm talking about. We appreciate you.
Anybody else? Do we have some more quiet ones? And see, this is one thing that before we get ready to close out is that I would like to leave. I'm like Brandon. It's a lesson. Is that when we as adults get a chance to speak up or say thank you, I love you, or either give a comment, we're teaching the young people character. Yeah, to be able to say thank you. Like when I was rearing my children, if they go somewhere, someone gave them something, I say thank you.
Right.
And you'd be surprised at just saying thank you and how you doing this morning. All that builds character, because what it does is it tells you I'm not self-centered. I'm just not thinking about myself all the time.
Right.
So, Brother Richard, what we're gonna do is, if no one else is gonna come forth and have anything else to say, thank you, Deacon Hawkins. I appreciate you. I love you, my brother. Thanks to the men's ministry.
Thank you.
The Church of Redeemer Baptist. Okay, and Brandon McDonald. Oh, thank you so much, my brother. You know I love you. You know Mom Gertrude loves you.
Yeah, I love you too, Miss T.
And you keep on being who you are. Go ahead, Deacon. You want something to say?
Yes, I like to thank him too for the wisdom that God put in him. Thank you for the wisdom that's coming out this young. Thank you, brother, for showing up.
No problem.
Anytime, right? Hey, Richard, you better tell him he can't say that to me. Anytime.
Watch what you say.
Okay, well, we're going to get ready to close out, Richard. You want to take us out with some music?
Absolutely, and I want y'all to listen to the lyrics to this song so we know on this call we have some from the youngest to the oldest, and we have some who like slow music, some who like fast, some who like oldies, some who like rap. Well, this one actually is by a gentleman named The Truth, and I knew him as a drummer here in Philly. I didn't know he was a rapper until I saw his CD in the store one day, and so I bought it, and I listened to this song, Sister T, called Testimony. And it's funny we talk about crowds, because what he's talking about in this song is saying that, you know, you don't have to be out there. You don't have to have like this dangerous wildlife testimony to share. Because some people think, well, dang, you know, I ain't never been shot, so what I got to share? Or if I don't do this, I ain't got. No, he's saying, look, even as a young person, sometimes I would do things just because being a part of the crowd, because I wanted to be that dude. But you know what? I want a testimony without being a part of that in crowd, because I'm going to try not to conform, even with the mistakes I make. So I challenge y'all, listen to these words called testimony, all right, by The Truth.
I thought my testimony was less than holy. I thought that I was less blessed than my homies, just confessing only the big sins. I thought that was a badge of honor. I thought I had to have a story that was packed with drama, but I ain't never been shot, no big crimes, never smoked weed, never drank, I never did time. I grew up with both parents, both cheering me on, teaching me basic things like no swearing. It's so apparent I came up in the church. Socially, that's where I gained my worth. Learned to pray and to serve myself for God, displaying His worth by living without blame on the earth. Just the average kid, you know, the type that like to play in the dirt. Came home with dirt stains on my shirt, reciting the same old verse at the table, no pains, no hurts. And I knew that I was called before the day of my birth, and it's like that. I ain't got no horror story. God kept me in my youth, I give Him all the glory. Thought my story wouldn't flow, but now I know the blood of the Lamb has saved my soul. That's my testimony. I ain't got no horror story. God kept me in my youth, I give Him all the glory. Thought my story wasn't dope, but now I know the blood of the Lamb has saved my soul. That's my testimony. I ain't no gangster, I ain't tough cause I rap. Never been cuffed and stuffed in the back of a paddy wagon. I ain't never cussed in my raps. I started gospel, most ain't accustomed to that. Let me get back, when I was young I used to think I was corny, cause I ain't grow up in the projects drinking a 40. And I ain't never had no thug dude sneaking up on me, and everybody had the name brand sneakers before me, and it made me really mad. But as a buck, my mom and pops taught me never to chase silly fads. They told me focus and bull showing me notebooks I really had. Praying parents, they introduced me to Billy Graham. See, I ain't got no horror story. God kept me as a buck, I give him all the glory. In high school, pretty girls in the hall ignored me. Caught me church boy, but I wasn't bothered normally. Though sometimes I would hate living the life of a saint. They saw the Christian bull coming in like right from the gate. Thought I would preach, so they tried to escape. But I guess that's just the price of pronouncing your faith. And it's like that. I ain't got no horror story. God kept me in my youth, I give him all the glory. Thought my story wouldn't flow, but now I know the blood of the lamb has saved my soul. That's my testimony. I ain't got no horror story. God kept me in my youth, I give him all the glory. Thought my story wasn't dope, but now I know the blood of the lamb has saved my soul. That's my testimony. Listen, don't get me wrong, I ain't saying I'm perfect. Matter of fact, I took thoughts and conveyed them by cursing. I was saved, but my behavior was worse than it should have been, man. I was ashamed just to say I'm a virgin. Plus, too afraid to admit I was a Christian. I spent most of those days trying to prove I was hip. Plus, trying to prove I was cool. Tried to move like a pimp. My testimony wasn't cool enough yet. So then I came to my senses. I put my brain to the scriptures. Thought of how Christ was blameless to sinners. He didn't grow up on the corner fornicating with sisters. A good Jew grew in favor and wisdom. And y'all know that gave me relief. Rearranged my belief. No longer thinking what I'm saying is weak. When I say I ain't never been sprayed in the street, but I've been saved by his grace, plus raised on my feet, and it's like that. I ain't got no horror story. God kept me in my youth, I give him all the glory. Thought my story wouldn't flow, but now I know the blood of the lamb has saved my soul. That's my testimony.
All right, y'all. So y'all heard it from the truth. All right, the testimony. So y'all go ahead out there and y'all continue creating and making your testimony without succumbing to the wrong crowd. And like Brandon said, don't be that person who is out there providing that negative energy and getting people to do the wrong thing. But let us, through Christ, let's go out there and do what we're supposed to do as he's called us to do, because we represent him as well. Thank you all very much again. Happy Father's Day. Thank you to all our presenters. Much love to you. And Sister T, again, love you and thank you for providing these opportunities for people because you care.
All righty. And when they say, don't be a bomb, night-night.
Night-night.
All right. Thank you, bro.
I want to say thank you, Mr. Washington.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And I really appreciate you adding me in the Zoom.
Oh, no, certainly appreciate you. I'm glad you joined in. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you got something out of it.
And thank you too, Brandon. I appreciate you too for the speech.
No problem.
What you trying to get a little deep? No problem.
Now, I was in my mom room trying to talk to her.
Oh, you got it. All right.
But Uncle Rich.
Yes, sir.